Hello, folks, and welcome to Bards and Books. I'm here joined today by my good buddy Uzman Zanor, and we're going to talk about The Butcher's Masquerade, the fifth book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. I hope you enjoy my channel and all the books that we're talking about.
All right. Yep. No, we're talking about The
All
Butcher's
right.
Masquerade today, which is book 5 in Dungeon Crawler Carl. Of course, we're doing this on audiobook, and the narrator, Jeff Hayes, Sound Booth Theater, phenomenal as always. I mean, what can you say, right? It's a great performance. Matt Dinneman really outdoes himself with this book. This has been my favorite book so far in the series. So much
Just keeps
happening.
getting better.
Yeah, keeps getting better, and so much is happening. Things getting more intricate. The plot, the characters. You know, we get some dark stuff. We get some incredibly sad moments, incredibly heroic, and just like air pumping, fist pumping.
Yeah.
Moments, you know what I mean? Okay, so I'm going to start things right off the bat with the opening scene where we get Carl put into a meeting once again with Orin, the Valte. What is he?
Fishbowl.
Yeah, the fishbowl guy. That's right. And he is going through some intense conversation with a big panel of people in regards to the Gate of the Feral Gods and how they don't want him to carry it anymore, or they'll give it back to him on the 9th floor because I guess he wasn't supposed to be able to take it with him.
He's allowed to take it with him. It's just the fact that it wasn't supposed to be, that item wasn't supposed to be in the game yet. He's not supposed to have anything that powerful in the game yet, but because they've made the game so much harder and tougher to try to finish off the game faster, that the AI has made the items a lot more powerful earlier in the game and kind of giving them a bigger head start. So they made it tougher in the beginning, and because of that, to try to kill off more crawlers. Because of that, now the players are getting these powerful items,
right?
And they're not supposed to have them at that level yet, and so they're trying to trick him into taking the items when they were on administrative hold.
Right, and that's, if I'm not mistaken, is why the AI is making things a lot tougher for them now, right? It's it's a lot tougher than it normally is at this stage, isn't it?
Yeah, because what was the fish people called again?
Valte?
No, the fish people.
Oh, the Kuatin.
Borant, yeah. This is the Kuatin have made this harder because they're running out of money, right? They're saying like, we need money now. Start the crawler early.
Yeah, so, and there's some big developments in terms of the corporations warring and some stuff happens there, but we'll get to that soon. So back to that meeting. I am in awe of how clever Carl is. You know, he's a clever guy, and in that meeting, the fact that he knew, like, okay, I'm not going to touch these items, otherwise, you know, I'll be at blame of fault right away. So he didn't touch those items, and the fact that he even asked for a lawyer right away. You know, think about yourself
without even knowing about, like, can I get a lawyer? Like,
exactly.
I'm just gonna take something from my own thoughts. Like, I want a lawyer, and he's just like, I guess you get it.
And then and you think about it, and it makes sense. Like, you wouldn't have thought of it in that situation, but you're just in awe of how clever Carl is, and you know that's why he's still alive and why he's still thriving. So very interesting, and I think that lawyer he got was hilarious. Such a funny dude.
Definitely crazy. Yeah. They talk about a lot, especially in the beginning there, is that they're like, usually lawyers don't get involved till way later as well, like in the 9th level, 10th level, that's when they start to like get a lawyer to get them out of the crawl, right? So the fact that he's got a lawyer in the 6th level is pretty early.
And he got a big benefit here because that lawyer got him a deal, and in exchange for the Gate of the Feral Gods, which I believe he will receive again on the 9th floor, right? So in exchange for that, he's got these 4 mercenaries to help him through level 6, and 2 spells: a teleport to stairwell and Zerzura.
Mm-hmm.
So those are huge benefits right off the bat.
Big.
Big time, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
I like how we got Sledge and what's the other
Bomo.
guy? Sledge Bomo. Yeah,
Yeah.
a
Name
familiar
the
voice.
other. Name the other two.
Oh, the other 2 are Clayton and Very Sullen.
Yeah, you got it. You got it
Yeah,
right.
I wrote it down because I'm prepared, but at
You
least
did.
somewhat this time. Um, yeah, no, it was nice to see them, and
Mhm.
obviously a huge help. But let me just say, I don't think in a million years I would have expected Carl to use that teleport to stairwell spell right away to assault
Right.
the hunters. Right?
Straight off the bat, you're like getting into this book and he's like, he's already got a plan. And he's like, I can't tell nobody nothing.
Yeah.
Just fucking roll with it. And most the other people were not super stoked that he just like, this is what we're doing right now.
Carl is so unpredictable, and he's so it makes the series so much better. Carl is awesome, even though he's
Mhm.
reckless, right? Even though in a like if you were in this world, you'd be like, this guy's absolutely out of his mind, like everybody's thinking, and you
Yeah,
wouldn't want to have anything to do with him. But man, it makes for great storytelling.
for
And
sure. Very vindictive.
yeah, and personally, I thought, okay, he got teleport to stairwell. They're going to be using that at the end of the book. Nope, he just used it
Mhm.
right off the bat to assault the hunters.
And it keeps paying off too. Kept paying off because he
Yeah.
kept I forget which one it was, but Bomo or the Sledge or whatever one it was, he
Mhm.
stayed there in the stairwell city, and he knows that the only stairwell that's available is the
Mm.
one that's in the Hunter City. Which I guess we should explain how this floor works a little bit.
Yeah, you go for it. You
All
you
right.
probably know better than me.
So basically, how the floor works for this part of it, like there's the hunters kind of go onto this floor, which are people from the universe that come and they hunt the crawlers, kill the
Mhm.
crawlers to get loot to take to the 9th level and to sell to the people on the 9th level for faction wars. And so they can go out in the beginning while all the other hunters, all the other crawlers are on the lower floors. They go on the 6th floor and they can train up and level up on the 6th floor, fighting the mobs and going into towns and like whatever. But they can't take over any towns except for the main town that they start off in. And so they start off in the main town, and that main town they have a stairwell in. So the only stairwell that's available at the beginning of the game,
Yeah,
of beginning of the floor. So
right.
Carl knew that that was the only stairwell available. So when he got that spell, he's just like, yeah, I think he had that in mind.
Yeah.
But
He also
basically,
said at the end of the last floor, he's like, I'm gonna come for you, right? And he held to his
yeah,
promise.
yeah, he's like, bring as many as you can. I'll take you all down.
Hmm.
And because of what he did on the last floor, where he flooded the faction wars and he stopped uh, people from being able to buy loot for their soldiers and stuff for the faction wars.
Hmm.
Uh, they had to send more people, more hunters to the 6th floor to get loot. Otherwise, they wouldn't have items for the 9th floor. So the more and more hunters had to come in. So more than they ever had before. Usually it's only a few. This time there's a lot.
Right.
Yeah, and they don't release the hunters right away. They had, I think,
Yeah.
was it a day, 2 days, something like
Yeah.
that before they
Somewhere around
release?
there before they're
Yeah,
released. Yeah.
so everybody can kind of like run away or whatever. But
Yeah.
instead, it was the opposite. That the crawlers didn't have to run away; the hunters did.
Yeah. It ended up playing very differently.
Hmm.
So very interesting there. But I mean, of course, that was in large part due to Carl.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Donut gets a new class here as usual. She's a legendary Giver,
Mm.
right? That's the class. But more importantly, she becomes a bard.
Yes.
So her singing. You know, we didn't get too much of. Definitely at the end, we got her singing, and it made some cool stuff happen.
Mm-hmm.
But it was interesting, her being a bard.
A little hilarity.
Yeah, a little hilarity, trying to stay on key, or
Getting bullied for it. You're like, you're bouncing too much. I can't keep my song. All that stuff. Like, it's
yeah, exactly. Oh man, Princess Donut was definitely the comedic relief here. So funny, whether she's bouncing on Mongo, whether she's mothering Mongo, and Mongo's going off, getting himself, in a little bit of a sexual moment with some other dinosaurs, and
that's
what can she do? She's like, okay, well, you come home when you're done.
Right after they Carl bombs that city and kills a bunch of hunters, and they're running away, trying to escape. Carl gets injured when he gets out of the town, and they kind of get rescued by
Miriam Dom,
and one of my favorite characters,
Prepotente.
Prepotente.
That was interesting.
My favorite. Yeah,
I didn't expect that, and I didn't expect to come to love Miriam Dom. I didn't think, because we didn't really get much of her. We saw Prepotente a bit, but didn't know how she would react to.
We kind of get a little background here, bits here and there, and they like see each other through a hole in the ground once on the train floor. Other than that, we didn't really hear much from them,
And what's cool about Miriam Dom is the entire book, things play out so that you're always like weary of her. You think she has like underlying motivations. You think she's like just doing things to get her way, or kind of scheming or plotting, and that never ends up being the case. Like, she's genuine, she's loving, she's a motherly person, and that's why her death hits so freaking hard, man.
Jumping straight to that. Yeah,
we're going straight to it. You brought up Miriam Dom. We gotta
fair enough.
Gotta get to it. Like, that hit hard, man.
It did. Because I mean, like, they kind of build up a character, kind of treat her a little silly in the beginning, where she's babying this goat, and you're like, what's going on with this goat?
Yeah.
The goat's threatening, and threatening Carl, and like, I'll kill you. Let's go. We'll fight right now. And then Carl's like, well, fuck you. You're a piece of shit, or whatever. You're a dick. Get out of here. And starts bawling like a child. Like, you said something mean to me.
He's like a child.
Yeah. He's just like, you've been like telling me you're gonna kill me. What's going on?
Well, he's very childlike, and you see that with like his constant bleeding in your face. You tell him, you piss him off, and he just like bleats right in your ear. So funny.
It seems like every time that bleeding happens, and it's just like right in my ear or right in my face. It's like,
oh man,
imagine you're just like, really.
Yeah. Okay, let's cover the rest of the characters. So, not only Donut is a comedic relief here. We also have Mordecai, who is a pocket Kuma.
Yes,
a pocket Kuma. And his voice was so funny for this one, man. You can just imagine him like this little teddy bear squirrel hybrid thing. So good.
And just right away, like, breaking up on the floor laughing after like getting, been given shit, this and that, like, oh, this happened. Like, he survived getting attacked right out at the bat, walks into the room, and after that harrowing experiences, what does he see? Mordecai is a teddy bear. What is he? Teeth too big for his mouth or something?
He's got like these buck teeth or something. He tries to storm off, can't reach the doorknob. He's got to jump.
Oh god! I mean, you could tell, like, after like such a rough start for him, for Carl, just he probably needed that, just to see that. He's just like, after everything, I needed that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never.
Absolutely.
You could tell it wasn't Mordecai's first hit of laughter too. So you could tell everybody else was kind of like, they're all
Mhm.
smiling, talking about it. I mean, there's bits of comedy here and there in this one, but it just seems to be more of an action-packed book,
Oh yeah. Very
more
accurate.
than a
Yes.
comedic book like some of the other
Yeah.
ones had more comedic bits. This is
Yeah.
more, uh, I want to say almost like a John Wick version of the book. Almost, there's more
Right.
stuff happens.
No, I get it.
You
Yeah.
know,
Action packed, full of heart wrenching moments and like crazy reveals and whatnot, right? So
yeah.
this is a big one. This was, yeah, and like I said, my favorite so far. Easily my favorite so
Hmm.
far.
I
So it'll be
agree.
interesting to see how book 6 kind of tops that, or if it does. So we'll see about that. But getting back to Carl, Carl's class, he gets they all get subclasses here, don't they? Like sub.
Yes,
So
they
he's
get
an
the.
agent provocateur,
Hmm.
which I think enhances his bomb making abilities greatly.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Um, especially how, if I'm not mistaken, this is also the class that. Wait a minute. Is this the class that also raises his intelligence, or is that something else that I'm thinking of? Because
I'm not sure.
he's basically focused on intelligence in this one because of certain reasons, right? I think it was.
Maybe something in the cookbook. I'm not 100% sure. I know that a lot of the times he is getting a lot of intelligence from killing some hunters with
With
the
the ring.
ring,
Yeah.
because there was a lot more people on this. A lot more of the hunters weren't actually like hunters. They're like more accountants and stuff like
Right.
that he's been killing. He's just like, why
Yeah.
are there so many accountants?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's intelligence and charisma as well he's been getting where he wants, and some dexterity, but you know.
Right. But his intelligence, it's been a big focus on that, whether he's wanted
Mhm.
to or not. He's gotten tons of intelligence in this book. And you know what's funny is the way we get lots of bits of his mind kind of flowing like a river, like a raging river in the back of his mind.
Mhm.
I'm thinking, I could be wrong, but to me, it always seems like that has something to do with it, with his intelligence kind of getting raised and his this river
Mm.
raging in his mind, changing, changing his makeup or something. Maybe that could be a way of interpreting it. I guess, with the whole
Well,
intelligence.
for me, one of the things I noticed when he started really talking about the river, was
Hmm.
right after they talked, like, he leveled up, uh, the ring, the what is the ring called again?
The Ring of Divine Suffering.
Yeah, the Ring of Divine
Okay.
Suffering, because it talks about the addiction of the
Mm,
ring.
hmm.
When they're
Yes.
talking about the addiction, and that's when he started, "A river flowing in my mind,
Ah,
I
interesting.
feel the water turning on."
Yeah.
But then later in the book,
Hmm.
he talks about how, uh, the water the sink is running, we're not supposed to let the sink run. He
Right.
talks about that, and he even says it out loud one time when he's, like, in shock when they're dealing with, um, the big bad at the end.
Hmm.
He talks
Hmm.
about that, and I think it kinda talked a little bit around how his mom died. When he
Right.
gets
Yeah.
about that, where he comes downstairs, he talks about coming down to the basement because he
Yeah.
hears a tap running, and we're not supposed to
The
let the.
tap is running.
Yeah, so not supposed to let it run.
Yeah.
I think that's where he might find his mom dead. That kinda hints towards that, like, maybe she
Yeah.
committed suicide, or maybe his dad killed her. Not 100% sure.
Huh.
We haven't really gone
Hmm.
into that,
But he's
but
been
I
through
think
some
it's
dark
just.
stuff. Yeah.
And I think it's the stress as of everything. It's like it really shows how it lines up. It's always busy. And, like, they're talking like, stop micromanaging, Carl. We got this. We got to split things up. I've got this. You can't just micromanage everything. You can't handle everything.
Yeah.
Divvy it up a little bit. And I think it's just because he's getting more and more and more and more stressed out. And the tap is, you hear the water running in mind. He keeps thinking about his dead mom and how
Mm.
things would have been before, if they never left Texas, yada yada
Yeah.
yada.
Yeah. Very interesting observation, Nick. You know
Mhm.
what? Now that I'm thinking about that, that makes a lot more sense as opposed to the intelligence factor. But
I'm not sure. I mean, that's a pretty good call. As your brain gets bigger, you might,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
think usually there's a pretty big
Something
boost
with
because he
the
did get
tap running,
100.
that makes more
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, because he did get 100 strength or something, right?
Yes.
And
So
there was a
speaking of
boom
that,
for that.
his strength passes 100. He chooses the subclass Swole for that one.
Oh, that's the wrong side.
Gets a
There
gets a
you
lot bigger. Yeah, which is why you see him on the cover of this one. He's huge,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, it's
So
fucking shredded, man.
shredded. Yeah, it's cool. But you know what? I'll reveal it to you now. Since we're
Mm.
speaking of the cover, my favorite character in this book or in the series overall now, Nick, is Samantha.
Oh,
Talking Head. Yes.
big into some eighth. Let's
I
go.
like Samantha. She's hilarious. Oh man, she's so
Oh yeah,
funny.
way funnier in this one than the last one. That book for sure.
Yeah.
Really hilarious.
I
Really
hope she sticks
hilarious.
around a
And
lot more.
I think she will. I don't remember what happened at the very end. Like, 'cause I know she ran away from being teleported away with the castle. Did she roll through with them?
I thought she got teleported with them. Did she
I
not?
think so. I don't remember. I don't remember. I think so though. They're getting a little wary of her though, because
Yeah.
sure she was just like a head, couldn't
Hmm.
do much. Couldn't even open her own mouth to talk.
Yeah.
You had to open her mouth up properly to get her to speak in the regular.
Yeah.
But now
She's moving around a lot more.
she's getting like how did you get on the table?
Yeah.
How how is she rolling so fast? Where is she?
Yeah,
You
hopping up and
know,
down. Yeah.
jumping around and like attacking things, and you're like, ah, wasn't that just supposed to be a doll head?
Yeah.
Yeah, couldn't do anything before. How did you do that?
Interesting. Yeah.
What's happening? I'm
But
kind of
she's
getting
like
worried here.
she's a god, is she not?
Hmm.
Yeah.
She's the banish. What is it called? Banish god, something like
Banish
that.
god or feral god?
Pharaoh god. Yeah,
Feral
that's it.
god.
Pharaoh god. That's the last book, right?
Right. So yeah, that's my favorite character right now, and she's hilarious. I love how, in a sense, she is kind of childlike too, because
Mhm.
she gives everyone shit, especially Carl, and then like at the end there, when Carl's like, "I have faith in you, I believe in you," she's like, "Really, you do?" And then
Yeah.
she's like, "All right," and then she goes for it.
That power of friendship, you know?
Yeah, friendship. Oh,
She kind of was a little bit of a deus ex machina for this book too, where either you're like attaching homing rockets to her, or sending her into the into the room to like turn off all the power. You
yeah,
know, she was doing like crazy stuff throughout the whole thing, pulling the boss monster outside of the water dungeon.
yeah.
Just-
But you see, unlike Donut and Mordecai, every single scene with Samantha was hilarious for me. So
Mhm.
every time she's on the page,
I Oh yeah,
yeah,
where just a hilarious character. I'm kind of interested to see, because now at the end they have a body for her now. They have a body for her to go into,
uh,
and they're supposed to go to like a flesh doctor or something like that, or like a fleshmancer or something like that,
hmm,
to uh, put her into that.
hmm,
So I wonder if they're gonna do that. If Is she gonna be like a full bodied character? Is she gonna still be a head? Do we have to wait for the ninth floor? You know,
hmm,
when is
yeah,
it gonna happen?
yeah,
Is this gonna be a good thing? Is it gonna be a bad thing? Is she
yeah.
gonna, murder everybody? Which a big thing for me in this, and yeah,
Oh, I
yeah,
got the
thumbs up.
grace. That's awesome. Just popped out of nowhere. Yep, cool.
Yeah, you had the pencil there, and it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
I know what that means. Um, but the one big thing that I've noticed in this book is it talks a lot about betrayals that nothing happened in the book so far with the our characters, but a lot of pages from the anarchist cookbook, a lot of Carl being worried about like either Miriam Dome or other crawlers or this and that. It's like, I'm starting to be worried about being betrayed.
And the same
Everybody else is
Mordecai's old teammate, the guy who he really hates now. Remember,
yes.
he's like, eventually this game's gonna get you to turn on the ones you love the most. So
Hmm.
yeah, you see it coming.
I feel I like even from the cookbook stories where it's like, oh, if you kill a province boss, you get a treasure map that shows you all of the most highest level loot on the floor. And as soon as we got it, people would kill each other over it, or you know, um, talking about mercenaries and like they'll get a mercenary added to the group and they'll just hide away somewhere else. No one even work for you, and you'll get screwed into paying for them. You know,
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. And their mercenaries are really good.
Hmm.
They're all their everybody doesn't seem to be backstabby yet.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'm interested to see who will be backstabby.
Well, I got some theories. We'll save that for the end because it happened more near
Yeah.
the end. But anyways, that's a big thing to keep in mind. Um,
Hmm.
let's speak about the quests a little bit because we get some sort of side quests, like with the Raptors, Big Tina, right? They're
Hmm.
putting on her performance or reuniting her with her mother, which is the end result. Um, what are your thoughts on the quests here? Which one stuck out most? And what did you think of Big Tina and the whole dinosaur part?
Um, I guess for quests that really stood out to me,
Hmm.
um, it's hard to say. I mean, I didn't mind the Big Tina stuff, or even I was kind of worried because of the was there
Vengeance of the Daughter with Signet, yeah.
yeah. I was a little bit like worried about the Vengeance of the Daughter with Signet and
Hmm.
stuff being not super interesting. Like the other, was it the second book?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I wasn't like it was kind of like a drag for me to like listen to that bit,
Hmm.
but they didn't really drag that out. It was more
Yeah.
of a like it was kind of more about Carl or anything that the Signet of the Daughter stuff wasn't really about Carl, and they had
Yeah.
their own stuff going on simultaneously, which I think
Hmm.
worked really well. Kind of like reinvigorated that character for me. Like Signet kind of became more interesting, uh,
Hmm.
as well as the Beaver people.
Hmm.
They're the casters.
Right.
Uh, they're like interesting characters. Very loved it. Like the two bald guys and the one with the mullet. He's like, yeah, I'm the boss because I got hair. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I dig that.
The princess at the end there, right? That's like the big one.
Yeah. Hmm.
So that was
That's
definitely
the
the
kind of like the
climax.
final.
Yeah.
And they beat those quests, so we don't know what they get for doing that. I think they get
Right.
some boxes, and we never found out yet. So that'll be something
We
for the
haven't
next
found out.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that'll be interesting, as well
Hmm.
as Big Tina and Kiwi get sent to the ninth floor. So they'll be in the ninth floor as well. So I see more about them.
Right.
What did
Okay.
you think? What did you think about the bear towns and their kind of attitudes, the rules?
Oh, right. The Bear Towns were all right. you know, I've been reading this other series that has like bear people as well, so it's somewhat familiar. Um,
Hmm.
but they seem like decent people. They had rules, but that's because dinosaurs and whatnot are threatening their people and their land. And then it's
Uh,
like it's fairly easy to come in and just kill the mayor and take over. So a lot of that happened very quickly.
oh yeah, some
Yeah,
pretty hilarious stuff with that too. Just
yeah,
like one time whacked the, you know, um, it's yeah. I thought some of the towns are kind of interesting. I would like to see different some of the different towns. It's kind of interesting to see more about the tree people, or the bugbears.
right.
Kind of see a little bit of a difference between the different towns, but you didn't really get a
Yeah.
chance to
Yeah,
see.
I think we got
You
one
know,
bugbear scene, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
one real bugbear town thing, and they're kind of hilarious. They're just
Hmm.
like they either want to fight you or be your best friend. Like I
Yeah.
feel like a like a drunk guy at the bar, and it was
Yeah.
kind of like that at the beginning. They were like, "Yeah, you fucking guys, I'm gonna kill you." They're like, "Oh no, we're not them, but they're coming though, so be ready." He's like, "Oh, well, I'll take you in for a beer then." So,
Yeah. Oh man,
what do you think about CrawlCon? That's the big one for me. This
that
is
is Crawl
my
Con.
favorite scene is CrawlCon.
Mm,
That's like the most interesting part of the book for me, where I
yeah.
really drove in some very vindictive Carl, some kind of like side hustle Carl, to kind of get some stuff in, finding more stuff on the outside of the world.
Oh, here's a little snippet that we didn't get much on, but it's something that I noticed is when Carl first appears through the portal, and there's like some kind of arched doorway
Mm.
thing, and on that is like a bunch of symbols, these weird symbols that he doesn't recognize, but he kind of senses like in
Mm.
the back of his mind that he does. I'm thinking that has something to do with his primal race,
Oh.
primal kind of symbols. That's I don't know.
Ooh.
I could be
Say,
wrong, but I guarantee that his
mm.
primal race is going to be something huge that comes up, a big part of the future books and future development. Him picking primal.
I definitely think so. I
Hmm.
know, I mean, the big part that they talk about all the time is that he can get past level 15 with his abilities, where everybody
Yeah.
else is kind of stuck at 15
Hmm.
at the end. He can actually, with a lot of work, push past and get all the way to level 20, which is
Yeah.
like God level.
Hmm.
So he's been working up, he's been focusing on certain abilities just to get them up to level 15 and push them past into level 20, which I mean, that's a big thing with the primal race. But I think you might have something to do with that because I know they have the language syndicate standard. It helps with like uh, talking to people of different races and reading syndicate standard. Uh, and I kind of think that maybe had something to do with that. But I like where you're going with that. Maybe that's where syndicate standard comes from. Maybe that's
Hmm.
the original language, and
Hmm.
or what?
Yeah. Yeah. Because we get snippets
'Cause
of
there's
the primal lore. You know what I mean? Like
mhm.
how things used to be.
I'm really interested in seeing that. They talk about that a little bit too with the of Vra's mother or whatever. The uh, what are they called? The praying mantis race or whatever.
Brawl's mother. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
they talk
Hmm.
about like farming. They farmed the primal races like ships, and
Mm,
that's how they have all this AI technology.
right.
Hmm.
Yeah. See, it's going to become a big thing. But as for CrawlCon,
Hmm.
so there were two or three events. Three events he went to, right? Right. So he did this art contest, which was funny.
It's
um,
great.
what was the other one? I know the last one was him on the panel with Brawl's mother. Was
That's the
it?
second one.
That's the
Second
second
one.
one.
Third one was the signing, autograph signing with the
Oh,
Dmitry Popov.
right, right. Okay.
Yeah,
So the
that's a
panel
good
that was
one.
the panel was huge. Like the way he swayed all the audience into helping him and giving him advice. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He kind of
where
talked to them like, "Look, what if this was you in this situation? Like, we're actually people too. You know, we're going through
yeah.
this."
I also like you guys are all here for talking about how certain people can win and how to fight different races and whatever. This is all part of it. So I'm here. Let's work through it. And let's figure out what's the best deal. Like, why
Yeah.
do you have to be on the hunter's side?
Right.
Isn't it more interesting if you're not?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
let's work this out. Let's make this interesting. Tell
Yeah.
me I'm in this terrible situation when I go back. Well, let's make it interesting. Is it going to be you want me to just go in there and just die immediately? That's not very interesting.
Hmm.
Let's crowdsource here. Let's get crazy.
That was a bit of a "Oh, Captain, my Captain" moment. You know,
Yeah.
all
Oh
the
yeah.
audience helping him, giving him advice, and the fact that his other sponsor, the apothecary, there was
Mhm.
a member there at the back. Ready? Remember, like
Yeah.
stood up, and
I
she's
don't
like,
I don't know
"Oh,
if is that a member of the apothecary? Is that Crack Heron herself?
oh."
Is that like are they like a hive mind? You know, or I'm not
Not
quite
sure. I
sure.
assumed it was a part of the apothecary. I
Hmm.
think they mentioned that it was like a hooded figure, but
Yeah,
he
it,
basically
it it
stood
it
up.
was it was a part of the apothecary, but
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the other one, the plenty are caprids. They're like goat people, right?
Okay. Yeah,
So,
yeah. And then she stood up and she's like, "Let him speak," you know.
hmm
So it's gonna be interesting seeing what their deal is and why they're involved in this way.
yeah, that's the other thing too with the betrayal thing I was talking about earlier. Like, the people they talked a little bit about in the in the uh, what's it called, the cookbook, the anarchist cookbook, how you know some people's sponsors betrayed them. Because like, hey,
Right.
if you die in an interesting way, it'll
Yeah.
promote us a little bit better. You know,
Mhm.
so I wonder, you know, if that has anything to do with it. I mean, with Maggie Mai, the last book, a Caprid was whispering in her ear, cheating to get her to try to kill Carl. Does it have anything to do with the plenty? Because I thought it may have been, the our favorite character or my favorite character. I thought it might
Yeah.
have been Pony, but
Yeah. That's what I
I
was
guess it
thinking too.
wasn't.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
maybe it's either the plenty, the Caprid race, or this new person who's taking over. We say it was Orin, as the
Or
administrator.
yeah, yeah. Mhm. That
So
guy.
this maybe that's the new administrator is going to be a Caprid, or maybe it's the plenty.
Mhm.
Whose side are you really on?
Going back to
There.
Carl, I mean, his mindset is changing a lot. We see him developing a lot through here, whether for good or for bad. But I find it very fascinating how he's taken the ring of divine suffering and he's just rolling with it. Like he's basically addicted. You can tell
Yeah.
he's using it nonstop and he's really leveling it up. And every time he puts that on, from the context that we've gotten before, it's gives you anxiety, but he pulls
Hmm.
it off, and he's getting some major buffs here because of that. I don't know if that's going to come back to haunt him or what's going to happen with the ring, but
It seems to haunt a lot of people who wear it. Everybody he knows, everybody else who's had it or has a different one has had issues with it, whether it was Frank Q or Prepotente.
mm-hmm.
It only seems to hurt the ones you love. So I
Yeah,
wonder if that'll come back to bite him. I mean,
I
he's
thought,
pretty good at taking it off,
yeah,
but if he forgets to take it off at one point,
mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm. I thought it was kind of cold the way he used it on Miriam Dom.
yeah.
But
I
and
mean,
I love how the AI just called him out on that.
for sure.
Everybody
I
found out.
I get his reasoning in my ear. She's already gonna go. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you don't really get an option, like many opportunities just get a free point, and it's like it's a free skill point, and
Yeah.
I don't want to die. So
It was
I get it.
kinda interesting, but the way that the AI just called him out on that, I'm like, "Oh my god, now
Oh,
everybody knows."
he's trying to be real secret about it.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't even say like, "Oh, he used that ring of suffering."
Uh,
Oh, if anybody's wondering where Carl gets a free skill point from, you should
yeah,
probably ask him about that.
yeah. Oh my god. The AI,
So
man,
anybody who
he's
knows he's got the ring is like, "Did you really do that? Did you really do that?" It's like, shit.
the AI is the ultimate troll, man. He's so
Oh
good.
yeah, I guess that's the ultimate, like comedic relief. I think addiction's going to be a big part in the later books. I mean, they seem to talk about drugs and addiction pretty heavily throughout the books. Whether it's like from the very first book, you know, all the monsters are addicted to meth,
Mhm.
or uh, you know, moonshine,
Yeah,
to the cigarettes they have that give
yeah.
you bonuses, but are also
I could totally see Carl battling with addiction very intensely in the future books because if you think about it, every book he's just getting more and more reckless. Like he's
mhm,
getting crazier. And
yeah.
so
Well, he hasn't had a cigarette in like
Right.
3, 4 bucks now. Jesus,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
So fair
But
enough. Yeah.
but at the same time, he's the most wholehearted guy. Like the fact
Hmm.
that he's risking himself to save all these NPCs, and
Yeah.
that's helping him too. These NPCs are like on his side. They're helping him through like quests and stuff too. That's so interesting. You would have never thought that you could get through these by getting NPCs on your side and building like this little army, you know?
Oh yeah. He's
Yeah.
definitely got a little armory there,
Hmm.
building up on the ninth floor. But
Yeah.
it's not even just the NPCs though. I mean, honestly, it's like all the other crawlers from around the world.
Yeah.
Anywhere he goes, they just
That's
kind of
right.
know him now. Like they kind of badmouth him
Indeed.
on the show,
Hmm.
but like everybody who knows it in the crawl knows, oh, Carl's here. Oh, thank goodness Carl's here. He'll figure this out, or you
Right.
know, maybe stay away from him because everything's going to go down. But
Hmm.
if something's going down, he's usually the one people call for.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's definitely built up an army of crawlers and NPCs. So
Yeah. And I
uh,
wonder how that leadership role will come to play in the future because as he gets more and more reckless and maybe potentially battles with addiction, we could see a huge downfall coming,
mhm.
and sort of a
I
some like
definitely feel like there's going to be a big dip because there's this one there's a lot of highs in this one. I like
Mhm.
there's a lot of like I mean desperate battles for sure. Desperate battles like
I like how they go onto the show. Beatrice comes out. She's a hologram, kind of confused, even though she's been updated on the situation. But of
well they
course,
they do before we start on that they do warn Carl and Donut.
but it's interesting
So
how they very passive. They don't have much to say to her.
yeah,
And then Donut just goes off on her because I
at
guess
the
she
end.
already knew because we got in the earlier books how Carl was debating whether or not he wanted to tell Donut that she was gonna give up Donut, right? But he
Hmm.
thought better of it, and I guess Donut already kind of knew. But from what we've got, we haven't seen the end of Beatrice. There's no way that this is it. Like you can't,
I
you
mean,
know.
it'd be pretty lackluster,
Hmm.
for at least for that part. Because I mean, after the end of the last book, you're like, oh, this is going to be big. And it
Right,
didn't feel it.
right,
I mean, honestly, there's a lot of emotion there. It really cemented, like, if B was shoved in here, Donut's, not gonna leave Carl for, you know, um,
hmm,
her. She's set in her ways now, and maybe there'll be a bonus thing at the end of the final book. Couldn't talk about what happened to her.
right,
Maybe she'll come back.
right.
Um, I don't know. That'd be surprising either way for me to see her again. But
Yeah.
uh, I'd be excited. I'd be excited if they came back with something else. It'd be probably pretty dark if
Hmm.
she did come back.
Hmm.
So
It'd be interesting because isn't she like a citizen of the?
yeah, but
She's like
she's hidden away now. She's in like protective services or something like that.
okay.
So it'd be interesting to see how that goes. Like, does does she get held hostage? Maybe
Yeah.
there's some
Hmm.
interesting ways of how that goes. How do you think? How do you think that they're going to bring her back? I should ask for your theories.
So at this point, they can't really bring her back as a monster or a boss or anything, right? So
They can
here's my theory.
hire her for faction wars.
Maybe we'll see her on the ninth floor. My theory is, um, see, I keep thinking at some point we're gonna get out of this crawl, we're gonna get out of this game, and get into the real world, the universe, and
Hmm.
deal with these kind of political machinations, um, more more upfront, So maybe we don't make it to the 18th floor. Maybe we don't even make it up to the 15th. Who knows? I think this might go out of the crawl pretty soon, especially with Carl's primal race. You know,
Mm.
because here's the thing. Remember when Dmitri and Maxim Popov got killed, and then they split
Yes.
into two children,
Mm-hmm.
but they still remained the race that they were, and then they
Yeah.
got whisked away,
Mm-hmm.
and they became free because they were
Yeah.
children, and children are allowed. So I'm pretty sure once you get out of this, you're still the same race. Don't you hold on to that?
I think so. I mean, it seems like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
mean, our dad stayed human. She's out. Uh, Other than that, I don't know who else. What other crawlers we talking here? Oh yeah, because in the in CrawlCon when they do the chat with Vraz's mother, and then they had another guy that was like a warrior from the crawl that died recently and has a worm in his head now, keeping the best of you alive. Yada yada.
mm,
Um, and he was a different race than what he is now. He was like an elf now, but before he was a uh, bird person like Mordecai,
mm.
sky fowl.
Yeah,
He was a sky
Skyfall.
fowl.
Yeah.
I'm getting it. I'm figuring it out here.
So there you go. They do keep their races
I believe they keep their races outside
going
of
there.
the,
See, I'm telling you, Carl's primal race is going to be crucial
hmm
in the later books, and I think he's going to get out.
I think so too. I don't know if it's going to be as early though. I don't
Yeah,
think it's going to be a 9-10 floor because they
mm,
talk about, oh, nobody gets past that.
yeah.
Kind of
Maybe
a lead up that he's going to get past it. I think that he might get to the very end, honestly. That would be more interesting. I mean, maybe he'll even skip a few floors.
Yeah, speaking on that note, I could see that happening because the way they basically skipped the seventh floor at the end there, right in the epilogue.
Hey, we're
Yeah.
getting
We'll
an
jump straight
epilogue.
to it. We'll jump straight to it.
All right.
We got to keep on track with our thoughts here. So,
Yeah, fair enough.
I was, because this is one that I've been dreading for a couple books now. I'm thinking, how are they going to if they're going to go through each and every level, how are they going to make it interesting? And I was thinking they're going to have to do something like this, where
Yeah.
they make their way past a level, just skip a level basically. And that's exactly what happened. And I was so,
I mean, the level would seem
glad to
way
see it.
different. They seemed
Yeah.
way different, right, than what they were going to do. It's like, oh, it's a race.
It's a race.
They might actually have pit crawlers against crawlers. It could have really killed off a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it would have been a lot different, but it was kind of cool. Just be like, no, we're not doing this one.
Yeah, because of it was mainly because of the items they received from their sponsors, right?
Yeah, from
The hammer and the stick.
Yeah, from the plenty and the which the alchemists or whatever. What is it called?
The apothecary.
Apothecary. Yes,
Right.
sorry.
So
From
they
the plenty and the apothecary gave them the items. Yeah.
So completely shattered the seventh level, and they're on to the eighth now. So
kind of picking things up faster. It's kind of good. I'm kind of excited that they've moved on. It's not going to be that far till we get to the 9th level.
great pacing. Great pacing.
Right. So I just wonder. It makes me wonder. I know in like the first book, they went through first floor and the second floor in the first book.
Right.
Knocked it out.
Mm-hmm.
Now every level it's kind of really crazy stuff's happening. It's the whole book is one level kind of thing. So if it keeps on that track, it's going to take a while to get through.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe in the next book they get past the 8th quickly and get to the 9th too. Who knows?
In the same book, maybe, yeah.
So
we got the Langley group killed by Vral. We want to talk about like
tons of people died. Crazy.
Yeah.
And hunters, didn't all the hunters die?
Yeah, all the hunters are dead. Every single one of them.
But that bomb they dropped right at the end where you find out that the hunters aren't these like just reckless dudes who just want to kill people. They're fighting for survival, right? To provide for their families too.
They said that a lot of them were like refugee camps.
Yeah.
I mean, understandable, but it's like,
there's no other way.
Can you feel bad about like, it's like, you decided you took the risk because you needed to provide for your family.
Exactly.
Sure. The risk you took though is to go and kill people. It's like
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
putting you're killing criminals. Basically, they're just criminals that are going and killing people for food.
Yeah.
It's like, is that good? Yeah, I know they need food too,
But it
understandable.
definitely
But
it
you're
definitely
killing
gave
people
them
for it.
yeah. But it definitely gave them a more human kind of feel, you know,
Hmm.
more authentic, more
Try to make you feel bad for them, but I don't
yeah,
know.
more
I don't
sympathizing.
feel I don't feel as bad for them, to be honest.
Not too bad. No. You're just like,
No,
well,
yeah.
you're just
And, well,
NPCs basically.
it's like they're like, "Oh, woe is me, so unfortunate." He's just like, "Do you know what I've been through?" Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
it's I'm just an accountant. Well, what are you doing here? Trying to murder us for? You know,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
came to me. You know, you came into this. So I don't feel bad for you.
Mhm.
You know,
It's a good
it's
point.
just like it's like the dentist getting killed by a lion in Africa. You went to go hunt the lion in Africa. Sure, you're just a dentist, but I
Yeah.
don't feel bad for you for trophy hunting.
Yeah,
You
it's the
know?
risk you take. You know, it's an attempt to sympathize with them a little bit, but again, it's the risk. They gotta pay for the consequences. Like
Yeah.
that's the choice you made. That's the way it is.
It kind of falls on deaf ears for me. You
Yeah.
know, I guess it also really shows for like the last book when they talked about the null who captured or tried to capture B and Gravy Boat from the tent, and it was stopped, and they grabbed B away. Kind of shows you what even that guy kind of felt bad for. But now thinking about it, how they treated, you know, Gravy Boat. They just basically killed him and shoved him in this thing,
Mhm.
forced this cat to be a different person, with
Yeah.
just the same body as, they could have done the same thing, right?
Yeah. But you see, like with all these scenes we get, and with finding out that they're mostly refugees and all this stuff going on their home planets, that's another thing that makes me think and makes me want to experience a story outside of this dungeon. That's
Mm,
the other thing that's making me think like we're building up to conflict outside of the dungeon. So at some point it's going to happen. That's what I'm thinking.
yeah. It's either that or those conflicts are going to come from outside the universe into the dungeon.
Into the dungeon.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
Hmm.
that's your ninth floor. That's the 18th floor is supposed to be just a party zone
Mm,
where all the rich people go and they like, have eyes wide shut parties or whatever, you
mm,
know? So if that's what happens, like the crawlers are never meant to go that far. So
yeah.
what happens when they go that far?
Hmm.
Does it all kind of come out into the open? Does it really change the world, or the universe, I should say?
Yeah.
So maybe that's what it comes down to. They're getting to where they shouldn't be,
Yeah.
finding the back rooms and figuring out like breaking open the deals.
So one thing I wanted to ask you, I kind of wanted to backtrack here. I forgot to mention it,
Mhm.
but basically after their interview with Beatrice and Audette, we immediately learned that the Valte has taken over the Bourne Corporation, right? What did you
Mhm.
make of that?
Um, hey, I'm not sure if it makes me more worried for these characters, makes me happy for these characters. Is it a out of the frying pan into the fire kind of situation, which would it seem to be like? There, everybody else is like, "You poor bastards," you know,
Yeah.
and it's like they
Uh,
tried to like fight back and help Zev and other people from the board kind of take down their leadership, but by doing that, they kind of got hit up. Now they're being controlled slightly by the Valte, which you know at first like Valte is kind of on their side to try to like screw things up for Born. Now that they've screwed things up for Born and they're taking control, now they're like, well, we don't want you guys screwing around anymore.
mhm.
It's gonna kind of it's kind of flip flopping. Now those people that were on your side probably aren't on your side anymore,
Yeah.
and I'm honestly kind of worried for how that's gonna go. Like, why are people worried about it? Like, if you get out of, you know, the dungeon, do you have to get a worm? You know, do you have to get a brain worm? Are they going to start? Is it going to change? Because the Valte usually do a like Mortal Kombat style thing where last man standing, they just make them fight each other. Is there going to be more crawler on crawler violence because of the Valte taking over? You know,
Mm-hmm.
what's going to happen? You know,
Yeah.
how are they going to push that through? So, I mean, honestly, I'm kind of worried for our characters now. You know, kind of puts me
Right.
in like a little bit of fear for them.
Yeah. That's the vibe I got too when the Felty took over and the AI made his comments. So
Mm.
that's going to make things a lot more spicy in the future.
Going to definitely going to make it more spicy for sure. I
Mhm.
mean, this is good for Zev, I guess, and she kind of seems more on Carl's side for the most
Yeah.
part. They're more of a like, hey, this is trying to help them out of the dungeon.
Yeah.
I like they're friends now, kind of, and I don't know to what level, because before she was just like, yeah, I'm just managing you guys. I don't really care if you die, kind of thing. Like, kind of do, but kind of don't. We're having fun. I enjoy talking with you, but I couldn't, you know, you're not really citizens.
But Zev's
So
also a part of that new generation that's more sympathetic to crawlers, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a whole nother can of worms with that, where they're talking about,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
how the expanding of the universe, like of the seed of of a life, kind of expanding too much, and that's why they do these crawls. It was to like basically cull excessive population on planets. So I don't know if there's going to be more information on that, if that has something to do with the primals that are all disappeared now.
Hmm.
So it'd be interesting to see. I'm very interested to see how that goes along. But I don't know. I'm definitely know that things are going to take a dark turn from the Velte.
Let's go back to when Carl was whisked away to the con right before Donut and Lucia Marr engaged. So we got that crazy fight. We learned about it later on. I was impressed with Donut's fighting capabilities with Lucia Marr and the way she killed Cece, one of her dogs, right?
Yeah.
And it's interesting how Lucia Marr kept saying, "Oh, she killed the wrong one, the wrong
Hmm.
dog."
Oh
So,
man, it's very interesting character. Like,
mhm.
I don't know, like before she's kind of seemed you're like, I don't care. She's this crazy person that we want to stay away from. It might be an epic battle later, but from the very beginning of the series, it kind of felt like, oh, she's like a big bad or whatever they have to deal
Mhm.
with later. And as it progressed, you see like more of her actually being a child, or maybe being multiple children shoved together or something. I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
we learned that she's like got a bunch of personalities within her or something, you know?
Yeah, like I don't know if she's just has a mental problem, or if she actually is multiple. I think multiple people. I'm not sure, or who's controlling that body, because they're not supposed to have children in the dungeon, right? That's why
Right.
the Popov brothers get away.
Yes. Yes, and we learned that she has like some youth assistant or something named
Mm,
what's his name? And Alexandro. Alejandro.
yeah, Alejandro.
Alejandro. What is the deal with that?
Not sure.
Hmm.
I don't know. That battle though, it was pretty awesome, and like even some great bits from the AI there. Be like using a fireball in an enclosed room.
Yeah.
It's like
Hmm.
another good use of the whole spell.
Yeah. Hmm.
Great fighting, and it seemed that as soon as Lucia Mar is away from her dogs, is when all the other personalities start to come out.
Mm.
So, because when they're in the bar with Donut and Lucia Mar, it's when she was able to have a bit of a conversation and talk
Yeah.
about Alejandro, is it Alejandro?
Yeah.
And, asking for milk
Hmm.
instead of like tequila, which is what she asked for later,
Right. Yeah.
you know, just kind of makes you. I mean, I have no idea what's going on with that. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think? What do you think is going on with that? I'm
It might
so
be
interested.
multiple personality disorder. I don't know. It seems to be tied to the dog, that one dog in some way. And
Mm.
she kept saying, "Oh, you killed the wrong one." So I don't
And
know.
and
Maybe
Zev is like, you don't have to be involved in everything, Carl. You don't have to be involved in everything, Carl. It's like, what?
yeah.
Clearly that's, I don't have a choice.
Right.
She's coming after us, so
I think we'll get more info on
um
the dogs. Like that one dog, maybe we
mm,
find out he's not actually a pet or something, and he can communicate with her somehow. Maybe the dog is Alejandro,
maybe.
right?
What about like they were
I
talking when
don't
they
know.
were trying to pick up B on the last end of the last book? They're also talking about looking for that girl's father in South America. Like I know that
That was in the
she
last
was,
book.
yeah, at the very end, the null was supposed to be like, oh, a lot of people are looking for that girl's father in
Hmm.
uh South America, which I think she's supposed to be like from Brazil or something like that. And then they're looking for Gravy Boat, and some people were looking for B in the Caribbean. So they're just kind of talking about the null trying to find people for the on the boarding list or something.
Hmm.
But maybe the dad comes in play for Lucia Mar.
Yeah, family member. Yep, yep.
I just want to know. I don't know. That's something that's gonna come. I hope we get a good ending for, or
Well,
get some good information out of.
I think our main crew is kind of backed off Lucia Mar now because, even Florin, we saw him approach her at the party and just
Mhm.
kind of soothe her because she was in her little kid, her kid mentality there.
Yeah.
So they've kind of realized, okay, something more is going on here. Maybe she's not just purely evil or what have you.
Right after the Lucia Mar fight, or after the donut part comes back, more fighting.
Right, because he found out from the audience that Lucia Mar would be setting up an ambush for him, right?
Mhm.
And that fight after that, I don't know, that was just intense. And then
Is
I like
Fra, you know?
Raw, yeah, yeah, Raw, and then
Yeah.
that arrow of what is it, double
Oh,
gonorrhea or
yeah.
something? Like,
Uh,
oh
oh
man,
my god. It
it's
was brutal, brutal arrow. I think he has some more too, so I wonder if that'll come into play later in,
the
some of
end
the
of
other
that
books.
chapter. What happened? And Donut's like, Carl gave Raw gonorrhea. Oh man,
He gets a condom in the box too for
all right.
even he gets it, and it's not even like in a chest or anything like. It's just a condom.
Mm.
It's great, great addition. So the AI is just so funny.
Oh man. Very funny. What's very interesting is the fact that they're making use of the rooms, like entering a safe
Mm,
room or entering their personal space, and then the way they're able to exit from the same place that they entered from. So, if there's any teleporting kind of thing happening, it's just so intricate. Like,
hmm.
you really got to pay attention to which door you go through, which room you're in now,
Yeah.
like that.
What do you think is going to happen with that? Because I know Carl when they had Bomo or whatever in the Hunter town, and he kind of realized that he could kind of go out into the other room, like teleporting, but he didn't want to kind of press his luck and do it. Like he didn't know if it was like a hack or if he'd just die if he'd go through. So what do you think about that? Do you think he's going to use that as a hack for later, or
That might be a hack. I don't know. It's so strange, right?
I
That
guess
is
he did make a bomb and then push it through there, right? So through
right,
Bomo.
right. And yeah, nothing really happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
So
good way of transporting items from different areas of the map. You're like, oh, I'm over here, you're over there. We
yeah,
go into the same room, and I can hand you whatever item you need to have.
maybe it's kind of just depends on who opens the door, and
Hmm
that's simply it. So
hmm
that could
I
be
wonder if somebody goes through a door from door by accident, gets fucking wiped out. Oops, wrong door.
yeah.
Explode. You know.
Seems like a little hack they discovered there. He discovered.
Hmm
So that's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
So many little things, just this building up here and so much to keep track of.
I
I could
know.
never,
This is
we
such
die right away in this
yeah,
dungeon.
not a chance, not a chance. My God,
Yeah.
I couldn't survive, especially if I was just in my fucking. This is just my underwear and
What
barefoot.
about what about the guy who picked the mushroom and just something just speared him right in the
Yeah,
head from the top of
yeah.
the mushroom,
Oh
right?
my gosh.
My God.
Oh, what about items like for this floor? Anything really stand out to you?
Items.
Yeah, I mean they had the catapult. Catapult was pretty
Right.
sick.
Right. Catapult was sick.
Lots of
Um,
patches.
Yep.
Patches was an interesting kind of addition from the last book. He had like one patch. Now he's got like 3 or 4 patches
Mhm.
and more tattoos.
Well,
It's
seems
gonna
like
be
he
like
has
a pretty punk
unlimited.
right now with all the tattoos, eh? It's
Yeah.
getting
Do they
pretty
have
punk.
unlimited inventories or what?
Yeah, unlimited inventory. They pick up everything.
Yeah, that's why. Because Carl has so much at this point. Like he just
Right.
loots everything. He loots bodies, body parts,
Mhm.
everything. Right.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah,
It's got a graveyard portion of his inventory. It's
yeah.
just a whole morgue in there basically of just body parts.
And just any
Um,
little thing he comes across, oh, I'll just throw it in the inventory. you know,
yeah.
could be
I think
useful. You never know.
in the first 2 books, I think he was getting achievements for
Right.
that,
Mm.
for looting so much, like kleptomaniac or something.
Yeah, yeah. There's like one line from Donut that we get which we haven't come across at all, and it's not mentioned again. And
Hmm.
that line, and it's when we learned that Donut was smuggling Valte agents for Zev and Boring
Yeah.
for an emancipation fund or something.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just like a little bombshell just thrown and then just
Right at the end of the when he goes onto the show, he's just like right at the end, he's like, I
yeah.
did this and this and this. Oh, I'm so glad that worked out because you only had like 2 minutes left before he gets teleported back to the
Uh-huh.
crawl. And he's
Right.
at the end. It's like, God damn it, don't say anything, but God damn it.
Yeah, so it seemed like he didn't even did he know about that? It seemed like he didn't know about that. Did
No,
he know? No.
no, I don't think so. He had no idea. He knew that like the Donut and Carl were talking. Sorry,
Donut and
Donut,
Zeb
Donut and Zev were talking through uh, the
in
what
chat.
was there's like the board for
Oh,
like it's such a big surprise to me. It's like I knew something was going on, and she was definitely stressed out and worried about something and worried about Zev or something behind the scenes. She had
yeah.
her own little stresses going on. Like Carl was got his stresses with, you know, trying to use the gate of the Pharaoh gods and
Hmm.
sneaking bombs around. But she has her own little secrets that she's
Yeah.
hiding from Carl.
Yeah.
And so they're both kind of stressing each other out that way.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
They're pretty similar. They're pretty alike. Pretty
yeah, yeah. A little bit of a horror moment. We get these odious creepers that are just made
Mhm.
up of body parts, and the way their levels add up. That was scary to behold, right?
Very interesting design.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting design of a monster where, you know,
Mhm.
the original creature was maybe, where they level 20, 30,
Yeah.
but then they just kind of break down to like parts and it's like, oh, the arm is 7,
Yeah. And they all just
3
add
for
up.
this, and
Yeah.
they just kind of all multiply to something even bigger,
Way bigger. Yeah. And I love how the AI trolls him once again. Okay, here's your quest: destroy all these things, otherwise something really bad's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then those vines start coming up once we get to the Butcher's Masquerade, which I think, should we get into the Butcher's Masquerade now?
We might as well. I
Anything
mean,
else? I mean, this
can't have
is
this go too far.
climax of the book here. Okay, so Princess Imogen, we knew that
Yeah.
she was probably gonna be Beatrice, but she ended up being a Fetchy, or a Fetchy's twin.
Yes,
Is
Fitch's
it?
twin. Yeah.
Fetchy's twin. But you don't know how Florin was gonna handle that, but it seemed like that didn't really phase him.
Mm-hmm.
There's more
He
to the
kind of
legend
was
about it.
prepared. He's
Yeah.
mentally prepared for that. Like he struggled through the last floor and
Hmm.
kind of turned himself around, kind of like
Yeah.
hooked himself up by the bootstraps. I mean, I think he is supposed to be like some sort of military man,
Hmm.
so he's probably used to some loss.
Yeah.
So,
But I love how they try to get these plans in place. Like, look, if
mhm,
any of these bosses or whatever are people that are our loved ones, like go down the stairs. Like that person's going down
mhm,
the stairs, and it's always like, nah, fuck that. Like,
mhm.
nobody listens. They're like, no, screw it, I'm good.
At
So
this point in the crawl, everybody's pretty battle hardened.
yes,
They've
yeah,
gone through a lot of loss already. Everybody's lost,
mhm,
seen people die. You know,
yeah,
knowing of their own loved ones are probably dead, crushed. So they're you
yeah.
know pretty hardened already.
And that's what Carl wanted to do with Donut when they found out
Mhm.
that Ferdinand was here,
Yeah,
right? But didn't end up happening as well. So
yeah.
they all
I
had to
mean,
face.
it kind of works out because now they pulled Ferdinand to their side, and
Yeah,
now
thanks
he's on the
to,
ninth floor.
yeah,
So
thanks
we'll
to
see how that goes.
what was it, Donut's charm
Yeah,
spell, or some kind of,
yeah.
was it one of her bard spells or like something else that?
It was both. She took a
Mm,
charm potion. She got a boost from Amani. I don't think he got one from Pepitente. She was supposed to get one from Pepitente,
right,
but she took another potion of like level boosting, and
right,
then also the song,
right.
and
So they got
put her
Ferdinand.
yeah, put her above 201 charm or something like that.
Right, right. So now they got Ferdinand waiting on the ninth floor, I believe.
Hmm.
That's going to be interesting. You don't know what's going to
Yeah,
happen on the ninth floor, how that's going to go down. That's going to be tough.
they just sent a bunch of crazy NPCs and characters over there. You
Yeah,
got Juicebox, you got Tina, you've got Ferdinand, you've got the tattoo monsters, you've got
yeah.
all the changelings.
And at
Uh,
this point, the ninth floor has been built up so much that you knew there had to be a level skip. There's no way we can wait for 7 and 8 to get to ninth. We're all just waiting for ninth at this point, right?
oh yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah, dude, it's gonna be a crazy book. That's gonna be a long book. That's gonna
Mm,
be a long book. I'm
mhm.
excited for it though.
Yeah.
I I'm really interested to see, and that's going to show a lot more of the world outside the crawl.
Mhm.
I'm interested to see how the vote goes.
Yeah.
Uh, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. The
uh,
vote to make people be able to actually die in the, because only the crawlers can die at this point, but
mm,
he wants everyone to
then
take
try
that
to
risk.
even the odds out.
Even the
Like,
odds.
like,
Yeah.
hey,
That was cool. That was
that
awesome.
was very cool.
Took you back to the end of book 4 where he kind of called it,
Exactly.
spoke to the cameras about that. So,
Yeah. Are you
but
not entertained?
yeah. Are you not entertained? Yes. Just chaos ensues. They got all these plans.
Yeah.
Chaos erupts. All the plans fall apart. We get Carl just feeling helpless, and he's like, "Is this it? This is it." Like,
Yeah. I'll take the fall just to make sure everybody else can get out.
right.
I've just kind of given up.
Yeah.
But it's then things turn around, right?
Right. Because of Samantha's help,
Samantha's help, as
and
well
then
as the vengeance of the daughter.
yeah, yeah, Signet. Oh my gosh, that was the big turning moment right there. I love
Hmm.
how Signet kind of came to this, just developed this epiphany, and she's like, I was told, nothing, none of it is real.
Yeah.
And she just kind of goes and slits her own throat, and everything is solved in that one act. Like
Hmm.
everything, chaos erupts, but they break the seal. they're able to carry out their plans now, and huge battles. So many people get killed, so many people severely injured.
Yep.
Um,
Is able to cast his Azura spell.
the Zazura spell, yeah,
Basically stole Imogen's castle, which I
yes,
think is kind of hilarious. They just
yeah,
like yoink out
yep.
from everybody's feet, so it just full on disappears. Castle gone. Does that mean
Yeeted
they
to
have
the
a
ninth
castle
floor.
on the ninth floor? Maybe.
Yeah.
So they just kind of dropped down, had the biggest fight where I have to deal with. Oh god, what was Vra's mother turned into? Is
She turned into the god. Is that
Yeah, it turned into a god. She was
turned
wearing
into
the
the
god's
god?
armor
Right.
as armor, right? Because they used that laundry day spell that's in the
Okay.
cookbook,
Right.
and it takes her out of the armor, and she gets killed.
So we had Duwata kind of
Hmm.
birthing multiple, and I love how it's just like they just keep she keeps birthing them, and they keep like getting slaughtered, and there's like all this gore of white and red and green just building up.
Oh yeah, and they're talking about, man, she's a really bad mother. But it's a brutal battle. I mean,
It's
they
brutal, yeah.
they they split up, and he's like, you guys take care of you guys fight the province boss, well, we take care of the god. And then they split off, and you know people are dying, you know all the hunters are dying. He finally kills the hunter that tried to attack him in the beginning of the book, the floor.
Mm,
He kills him by like setting off a trap, because he knows he has traps on his vest. He's like, I remember you. And he just
yeah.
does a quick the trap set off spell and
Mhm,
sets off
mhm,
every trap in his vicinity, blows him
mhm.
in half. It's pretty
Yeah.
sick. And then the Carl gets Donut to use the laundry day spell, which she just picked up. Which I'm surprised that Carl didn't throw any fanfare behind that. It talks about it either in the books or on a debt show, that they should get the laundry day spell as soon as possible. It's the best way to fight a god. I
Hmm.
think because they were worried about the Skull Empire, and
Right.
that's the only way to get a, a person who's invincible with the god powers. Instead of being able to take the armor off the god, you just they're the people who are sponsoring the god are basically wearing the god as a person suit, and they're able to just yank them out of the person suit. Then they're actually able to die after that.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
it is an amazing spell for Donut to have and to
Yeah.
level up to that level.
Mhm.
So pretty exciting for them to be able to like have something in their back pocket to take down gods, which I wonder if they'll be able to keep. If they're able
Yeah.
to use it so well, and they're so known for killing, you know, citizens of the system, if they're gonna let them keep it.
We've got let's touch on Katia now. So we've gotten some hints as Katia wanted to talk to Carl. Remember, she wanted to have a deeper conversation. She never got the opportunity.
You know what?
Maybe it was the whole her and Dave Batista getting together.
Hmm. Which is that's one of the big bombs in the beginning. She's like, she didn't really, she's gonna do her own thing. She's got to go find and kill Ava. She's got to
Yeah.
go find and kill Ava, uh, and you know, so there's a whole. She's gonna have her own arc. She's gonna have her own fight, and she's gonna stay separate from Carl. Albeit she's a lot more in this book than I would have thought for doing her own thing.
Yeah.
Uh, and they have their own kind of like story there, and they hook up with the people from Meadowlark and the 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 Lena group, and Dave Batista and Florence, and I guess Dave Batista and Katia end up getting a little close, right?
But we get a little bit of hints to their relationship, and some insight as to how Katya feels. She keeps saying, "Oh, I do that sometimes. I hurt the people close to me."
Mm,
Right? She keeps saying that. And then at the end there, the fight with Ava, you mentioned the beanie. earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So that beanie was given to her by her sponsor to protect, because they knew that that incident with Ava was going to happen, and that Ava was going to put that crown, that tiara on her head. But she
Yeah.
gave that beanie to Carl.
For the way items work in the game is you can't, like, for her, she can kind of grow arms and heads, but she can't just grow like 5 heads and then wear 5 helmets. You have a certain number of slots. So because her slot was now empty, of the head slot was now empty of the beanie, which doesn't even show on her. She just absorbs it into her. She wears it, but it's
Yeah,
absorbed into her body because she gave that to Carl to help him push away monsters while he's fighting the god.
yeah, hmm
Um, she didn't have it on her head, and
yeah,
as a final, as she's just about to kill Ava, she takes it off her back, out of her back pocket, and puts it on Kadia's head. And
yeah,
if you wear the crown, you're in the line of succession for the ninth floor for the Nagas. So now Donut is, and Katya, and only one person could be at the final line of succession to get to the next floor.
yeah.
So now she's got
That
that in her back pocket.
that was so
So
intense.
I just kind of wonder what's going to happen with that. Is I don't think Katya is going to be one to be backstabbing. I feel like, you know, um, Dave Batista lost everybody in his family. Everybody who came in with, he's finally found somebody to care about in on this floor with Katya.
Mm,
And, you know, I don't think Katya would ever, she's kind of has gone through some tough times, given up on a lot of things because of the the child she almost adopted and couldn't adopt. You know,
yeah,
she, I think, she won't really do anything backstabbing, but I think maybe Dave Batista might, in
yeah.
order
He
to
might
keep in order to keep Katya alive.
play a bigger role and do some devious stuff. Yeah, I could see that. Batista.
Hmm.
It's going to be a whole ordeal there.
It's gonna be dark. It's gonna be dark.
Yeah,
And there was maybe a whole floor there that they could have figured something out with that they just didn't have to do anymore. So,
yeah. Well, they got one more floor, and who knows? There are so many ways that you can find like loopholes or stuff like that. Maybe
mhm.
something will happen, or maybe not.
Yeah, maybe that's how they get out of it, is they, you know, sponsor a deity, albeit if they end up sponsoring Samaith. I'm not
Mhm.
saying that's how it works, but Katya's also got the arrow that if you shoot into the eye of a god, they're uh like they could die if you kill them in 30 seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
So she's got that in her back pocket too. And she's sponsored by the Skull Empire.
And now they skip level 7, and now they're going on to level 8. We get a little hint of that where apparently they're going back to Earth, and they get to pick a section on the map. They have the book for the Bahamas, and she ends
Mm.
up choosing the Caribbean instead. Oh man, wrong set of islands.
So that's gonna be, I don't know how they're gonna make that fly.
I don't
And
know.
I mean, the Earth is a pretty big place, so how far people are gonna be spread out,
Yeah. hmm
And I'm super excited for this next book
Yeah.
coming up.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. It's gonna be nice to go back to Earth, see what that's gonna be like.
Yeah.
Interesting. Uh-huh.
How are they doing that under the earth in a dungeon? It's wild to me.
I could see with the Caribbean and the Bahamas more of like a piratey aspect, on ships.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd
Yeah,
be really cool.
that would
You
be
know,
cool. Be awesome.
I wonder what they're gonna do. Are they gonna do a whole Black Flag kind of thing?
Maybe
Ship battles?
ship battles. Yeah,
Yeah,
and cannon fire. Yeah,
that'd be interesting.
it's gonna be cool to see.
I don't think that's on the title of the next book though. The phrase of the book seems to be more of a
No,
trading card game.
yeah, the Eye of the Bedlam Bride. I don't know what that could be about.
Hmm.
Very interesting cover for book 6.
Yeah. Well, I guess we should say a rest in peace to Faraz
Yes.
and Gwen and Horton
Gwen Horton. So
and
many.
Langley.
Yeah, so many deaths.
Faraz, I think, was the biggest, like, whoa to me.
The biggest blow to definitely a
Yeah.
lot of the characters there. Katya, Louis.
hmm So
Uh,
Louis is the one that's in love with Juicebox, right?
yes.
And then Faraz was dating Brittany.
Brittany. Yeah, and
Yeah,
Brittany's pretty scarred up now, I believe.
yeah, burnt in the face from that
Yeah.
last thing. That's the last skill that, like, she had this robe full of those butterflies
Right.
that attracted the lightning, which scarred her
Hmm.
and killed Faraz, which I think was part of not part of Carl's plan, but it's a device that Carl thought of.
Yeah.
So he told her to use it, and he even said, "Oh, it's too late," but it ended up working anyway because he
Hmm.
was trying to get the butterflies to go for the glowing lights, but instead went for the lightning. And anyway, I'm interested to see if they do more of the cult stuff and more of the, like, 'cause he's got the spiderweb cult tattoo. I want to see where that goes. I want to see more of some of the rooms and tools that he gets. I can't wait to see what he kind of builds into his repertoire, and I can't wait to see what bombs he makes next.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I'll say this right now. This has been my favorite book so far. And I think this book has the best cover, in my opinion. The coolest
yeah.
cover.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Man, he's gonna be so tatted up by the end of this book. I mean, he's not gonna have any skin left. It's not.
Yeah.
They keep those after they leave the.
Yeah. Oh, all right. After they leave. Oh, I don't know if they're going to take that out of the dungeon for them.
Yeah, needs to be tatted up to the nines. That'd be hilarious.
That'd be funny. Um, any predictions from you for the next book? What are you looking forward to?
Well, I definitely think, for me, betrayal is going to be a big piece. It's coming.
Yeah.
There, I
Yeah.
can feel it in my bones. That there's
Hmm.
going to be a serious betrayal of someone close to Carl, whether it's Katia, uh, whether it's Faraz.
Well, for
Oh, sorry,
us,
sorry, Louis,
Louis. Yeah.
Louis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, Probably Brittany. She's probably pretty choked right now after
Been pretty
Faraz
quiet
died.
up to this point.
You know,
Yeah, I could see something more happening with her. Yeah.
I don't think Florence is gonna be a problem, but Katya and Dave Batista, those are big.
I could see
You know,
Dave Bautista. I understand what you said about him. I could see that happening. What about Lucia Marr? What are we thinking on her?
I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna come into fruition in this next book or not. I mean, they've
Yeah.
been having her. She's been a big piece for a while.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
maybe they do finish off her story in this. I mean, she doesn't know about Caribbean, but that seems like kind of the zone that she might be from. She might choose somewhere Brazil, you
Yeah.
know.
Are they going to see all the humans that are still on Earth? Right? That can
Yeah.
happen.
What time period are they going to? Is this going to be like,
Oh,
what
yeah.
are the? Is it going to be just empty? Is it going to just be the after the Earth crash, or is it going to be
Yeah. Maybe a
something
different
from
time period.
movies?
Yeah.
Is it a safe state of the Earth before, you know, the apocalypse?
Once again, so much to look forward to.
Yeah, so much
Yeah.
to be excited about.
Yeah. I'm very excited to get to book 6, and at the same time, I'm going to be very sad to finish it because book 7 isn't out yet.
No,
So we're going to have to take a break and visit another series after this. Um, if it's not out by then. So that'll be another conversation.
yeah. I guess we'll have to, like, do a little like a little ask the audience to see what they
Yeah,
want.
yeah. Get some comments. Hopefully, get some suggestions. What other lit RPG series should we dive into? Which one after this one? So
hmm We've
that'll
got
be
some
something.
ideas, but it'd
Yeah.
be good to see if anybody has
Mm-hmm.
anything else.
Get some input. So we'll revisit that. But I think we'll end things here.
Yeah,
Solid chat. Longest
solid
one
chat.
so far.
Yeah.
Longest one so far.
Longest one so far, longest book so far. So
Yeah. Let's see if the sixth one is longer. I don't know.
I think it is like a 6
Oh
hours
man.
longer.
Might be it's gonna be a longer conversation too. Then
Yeah. You
let's
never
see
know.
what happens. But I will wrap things up here. Thank you everybody for tuning into this video. Thank you, Nick, for joining me as always. And we will see you in the next episode of Leveling Up with Book 6 of Dungeon Crawler Crawl. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
All right. Cheers.